let me first state clearly that today is a very sad day for some of us, especially the residents of Murwadikri constituency at large, and particularly the residents of Soget area, where we had initiated the opening of a school, a secondary school, which already had admitted around 80 students, and 80 students from very needy families which has very serious backgrounds, especially families which don't have money to send them to boarding schools. So when somebody purports to come and deny that constitutional provision, we normally consider it as an absurdity, and therefore we came here and we told the DCC that please help us to register the school, but not help us to close the school. And today we had the PS for education. Of course, I did not find him because I was still on my duties. I came from Nairobi and I found the PS had left, and he was here with the DCC, with the county commissioner, with the county commander of police, with the DCI, and so many other people who came here. But unfortunately, they did not also talk to the residents. They did not even listen to the needs of the residents, the reason why the residents opted to have a school. But just came and made a declaration that all the schools which have been built in this constituency should be closed. He gave an order that the following schools should be closed with immediate effect. Kiptobit Primary School, Lelach Primary School, Kabuson Central, Chemgaina, Chepkebit, Meregito, Kibailuk, Mogoyuet, Kimalel, Reverwe, Tumda, Kaptorokwo, Saunoshek, Chepkeigei, Torochasis, Chepkulul, Chesohori, Kapsimotwo, Ketendeita, Chepkureret, St. Paul primary schools. He declared them to be closed. He also declared the following secondary schools to be closed. And these primary schools, by the way, have pupils more than 300. Each primary school have more than 300 pupils. And I have with me the record of the students and the pupils which are in these particular schools. So I will also issue the number of pupils who are in these schools. And at the same time, I would wish also, before I go to the secondary issue, I would wish to show the schools which the PS purported to have closed. This is Chemgaina Secondary School, primary school I mean. This is Chemgaina Primary School. You see, it has around 4 classrooms, permanent classrooms, and it has over 340 pupils. And that is a school that is up to class 6. This is Ketendeita Primary School. Ketendeita Primary School has 3 permanent classrooms, which has around 4 classrooms, and he also declared them closed, and has around 300 pupils. This is Mogoyuet Primary School. Mogoyuet Primary School has around 2. The PS ministry declared to be closed at 26 primary schools, and each primary school has over 300 pupils. So you can do your math. 26 times 300 pupils average. That is around. Yeah, you can imagine the number. And when you tell us it is like a tall order, because the schools the reason why parents opted to build these schools was because of public participation, which we did. And we agreed with them that we need to build these schools. And we have built them. And we did public participation. And that is a requirement in the Constitution. And anybody who wants to close the schools should also do public participation and declare the schools closed. So as of now, the primary schools I've mentioned will never be closed. We will not close them. Let anybody just let yourself go around. You can do whatever you want to do. You can even bring issues and all those people you brought them here today. But we are not going to close these schools. We are not. And the reason is here. And before I go even to the reason, this list of secondary schools, which also the ministry declared to be closed, include, among others, number 1, Soget Secondary School, which we are here today, which had around 80 pupils, students, and those are for months. Murukan Girls Rescue Center. This was built specifically to rescue girls who maybe have left school due to pregnancies, early marriages, and all that. We built that school to assist these girls to come to that place. Now somebody is telling us that we did wrong by rescuing girls when we had been told these are girls who were married and when they were young. Some of them were married off when they were 15, 16 years old. Some of them dropped out of school because of pregnancies, early pregnancies, when they were 12. We managed to bring them back and put them in this school called Murkan Girls Rescue Center. But they told us to close them today. We have Kamaget Secondary School, which has 2 classrooms and around 50 students. We have Mogondo Girls Secondary School, which we built 8 million. We put 8 million to build that school. And we have already existing structures. We have Swimming in Secondary School, which we have around 4 classrooms and has up to Form 3. Yes, this is swimming in case. We have boys Form 1-5, girls we have around 22. Form 2 we have around 50. Form 3 we have 47. So you can imagine, and we have teachers in these particular schools, and we have 4 permanent classrooms. We also have Emurua Digir girls, which we also built 2 classrooms. We have Cheleme girls, which we built. We have 2 classrooms. We have Chebara Secondary School we built. We have 1 classroom. We have Simot with Shinas Primary School, that is falling under the primary school. We have among the secondary schools which the ministry told us to close down are the following. This is Swimming in Secondary School, as you can see. 4 classrooms. Complete with everything. We have, this is Kibailu Primary among the primary school. This is Jebkureret Primary School. 4 classrooms. This is Jebkulul Primary School. This is Maraview Secondary School, which has up to laboratory. And this one has 300 students as we speak. This is Reberwet Primary School. 4 permanent classrooms, complete. Now, when we are told that we need to close down these schools, so I wonder if we were to close the schools, number 1, first, where do we send the students who are studying in these schools? Number 2, what do we do with the structures? Do we turn them into cereals board for buying maize, buying stores, or we turn them into what? I don't understand. These are schools we built with government money, that is CDF. And no one can tell us not to proceed with our students. Secondary school, I hadn't shown you, and I hope you'll also make a visit. And this is our latest Sogate, our latest in the compound. Now, without saying much, this matter has been raised in Parliament as a question to the PS. And you can see the Hansard. We have the Hansard with us here, and many members spoke to it. And the Speaker ruled that the CS for Education be summoned to appear before the House on Wednesday. And it is here. The PS was summoned to appear before the House to discuss this matter of trying to close or register new schools. And we've been waiting for the appearance of the PS to come to the House to explain to members of Parliament and to the country at large whether these schools, or what is the rationale behind the idea where some people want to close the schools. So while we are still awaiting the CS to appear before the parliamentary committee and before the House, somebody just dropped from nowhere and purports to close the schools. Until this matter is dealt with in the floor of the House, until the CS answers to the questions which were raised by members, because the questions which were raised by the members were questions raised by the people who we represent. These are not our questions. These are the questions which were raised by members. So we're still waiting for the CS to come and tell us. And that is why I'm saying, without fear of contradiction, the schools which we have built using CDF money were built procedurally. The process of registration is clear. You must have a piece of land, which is not less than, in fact, the recommendations are here. The piece of land must be 0.2 acres, I mean. It must have a structure, And it doesn't mean whether the structure is permanent or temporary, only a structure. It must have not less than 50 pupils. Those are the recommendations of the ministry, and those are just, but not even not laws. Those are just regulations which are given by the ministry, and the regulations are not laws. They are never laws. So what we need to understand is that the school which was declared today closed, does it have a piece of land? Yes, it has, 5 acres. Does it have structures? Yes, it has 2 classrooms. Does it have students? Yes, it has 80 students. So somebody should tell us why we need to close this school, and yet we have, or we meet the recommendation of the Ministry of Education. What we only expected was the Ministry of Education to come and do the assessment, and after the assessment, go and give us the registration certificate to proceed. Otherwise, we are not sending any student home here. We will be having running battles here with the police, with the GSU, with whatever. If that is what they are specialized in, we will be having those running battles. We are not going to remove our students from here. The students are going to learn. We are going to provide for them. We are going to pay for whatever they need, if it is lunch. We are also going to pay for the teachers, or which have been, which are affected, are 12 secondary schools. Most of them have up to 100. Some of them have 150, so because there are those which are up to Form 3, like Maraview. Maraview has around 300. We have Ainamo, which has around 50. We have here, which has around 80. So the students which will be affected mathematically are around 2,000 students. Now, when you look at 2,000 students, we are going to deny education. And it is provided for in the Constitution that every student must have access to free primary and free day secondary education. That is not, nobody should even question that. It is beyond question. When parents have decided to bring their children to school, and remember this, and I want the Minister for Education to remember this very well. There are 2 things which affected us in this constituency, and especially the Narok County. Number 1, there were girl dropouts. And we were told about the percentage of girl dropouts in our constituency, in our county. Actually, Narok County was leading in the whole country. And Transmara West, Transmara East, and Narok East were leading in girl dropout. What are the reasons? Reasons? Access to education. Most of the girls could not access education. Now we are trying to promote these nearby schools where students will be staying home with their parents and thereby avert the question of pregnancies. And somebody is telling us we close the schools. Number 2, they were telling us the percentage of students who have not reported to schools because of the 100% transition. They made a calculation and they told us around 40% of the students never reported to school. Now, we are trying to minimize the number of students who never reported to Form 1. Among them are those who are coming to study here. That is 80 students. What percentage is that? Vis-a-vis those who sat for examination in this school. This school was number 1 in the whole sub-county. And that is why they opted to have a school close by. Because they send several to national schools. They send others to county school and extra county schools. But those ones that remain could not access Murkan. Why? Because Murkan is full. They could not access Cheramgoi. Why? Because Cheramgoi is full. They could not access Koisagad. Why? Because Koisagad is full. Each and every village is telling us, you should fill your school. So if all those other areas are filling their schools, where are we going to take these students from this school? And that is why they opted to build their own school. Now, instead of the ministry telling us to hurriedly register the school, they are telling us we close the school, we disperse the pupils to students to other schools. How does that happen? There is also the question of junior secondary school, which they have introduced. Now, if you want to know whether the ministry is really serious, or even the regulations itself, how do you introduce a program which you don't even understand how it's going to be dealt with? One, how do you introduce 100% transition when you don't even understand where these pupils are going to study? Number 2, how do you introduce junior secondary school, which is supposed to be based in every primary school, and expect us not to have structures?
Kwamba sisi ni wazazi wa Soget. Na kwa majina mimi naitwa Richard Langata. Sisi ni wazazi wa Soget. Na tumefungua shule hapa. Na tulifungua tukiwa na sababu. Sababu ni hii. Wazazi wengi hawajiwezi wapeleka watoto wao katika shule za mbali na shule ambazo zinadai karo nyingi. Kwa hivyo shule hii itasaidia wale wanafunzi ambao wangebaki nyumbani. We wonder now. Leo asubuhi tuliamkia askari wengi sana, maafisa wengi including chief officers ambao walikuja shule hii, ungedhani kuna there is a very serious crime ambayo imefanyika hapa, lakini kumbe walikuwa wanakuja kufunga shule. Sasa tunashangaa, ukifanya makosa unaandaa mwana serikali, ukifanya development kama kufungua shule kama hii unaandaa mwa tena. Sasa tunashangaa, ni kama tumefungua ambayo haina license. Tunashangaa sana. When we want to state here categorically, and we are very serious on this, and our pleas to reach the permanent secretary education to consider the fate of those children who would have been left home had we not started this school. Let them think their fate of those girls. Sisi and tunasema kwamba hakuna mahali tutawapeleka watoto wetu kutoka shule hii. Hakuna mahali tutawaweka, na shule hii tunasema kwamba haitafungwa, na tunasema namna hiyo. Tuko na sababu. Kwanza this ministry ambao wanataka kufunga shule hii wafikirie the history of this area. This school is development that we have brought around here.